Hey guys, Patrick here. Welcome to Boomer High. We're just going to stop the music and welcome everyone. Welcome to Boomer High. Patrick Batty here. We're a little late today. I'm waiting for Mary, and I was just on Skype call with her about 10 minutes ago, and I've lost her now. So I've just messaged her to join in as soon as possible. And I just want to do a quick sound check. I can see the videos playing. We've got sound. Good. So welcome everybody. Welcome to Boomer High. Patrick Batty here. Marian Herbertson should be here any minute. And we're going to kick it off today with, a little bit of an update. I've had a very busy day today. If you call this work, it was a lot of work, but I don't really call it a lot of work. I did a blog post. I did a couple of videos. I did a 2-hour training, though, that I, along with somebody else, recorded a 2-hour training for the Empower Network that's going to be part of their all-in library. So I'm kind of happy about what we did, and we'll tell you more about that. And that's actually leading me to what we're going to be talking about tonight, and that is blogging. Basically, within Empower Network, there's a blogging system, which I use quite a bit. And with that, I've been able to rank blog posts almost instantly now since the new blogging platform was launched. And I'm going to show you a little bit more about that and show you how we do it and things like that. And that was actually the subject of the training today as well. And we spent almost 2 hours teaching it as part of the all-in library. I'm going to do a little bit of that tonight. We don't take 2 hours on Boomer High, but we'll show a little bit about that as well. You can see a lot of you joining in. If you have questions, hey Gary, how you doing? Sue, great. And again, I don't know where Marian got to. She was going to be joining me live tonight, and all of a sudden she's vanished. So I don't know if she lost her connection or something like that. So what we're going to do is we're going to talk about getting blog posts ranked in the search engines. And we'll back up a little bit on that. Why do you even want to do that, right? So if you know a little bit about search engine optimization, or what is, Google search engine or Bing or Yahoo, effectively people type in terms into the search engine, and the results bring up listings of, dozens and dozens of web pages. In many cases, 30, 40 million pages have been indexed around a particular topic. And usually people have their browser set to show them 10 on a page, 10 listings of whatever the topic may be on a web page. So on page 1 of Google, there'll usually be 10 different posts or pages that will display on whatever search term you're searching about. And people search for literally anything, obviously. So what we want to talk to you about today is how to get your post ranked immediately into the search engine. First of all, indexed by the search engine. Secondly, getting them ranked high enough in the search engine that they're found. Because, as when people search for something, they typically, maybe look on page 1 and see who's up top or who's in the top 2 or 3. And they most often will not go beyond page 1 of the listing. So if you have a blog post or a website and it's on page 5, you're probably not going to get any traffic from the search engines. Okay. If you're on page 1, there's a good chance you do. Most statistics I've seen say something like 90% of everybody that does a search will click on the very first non-paid listing. Now, when Google and Bing display listings, they usually have a couple up top that are paid advertisements about whatever the search topic is. And then after that, and usually they could be shaded or something identifies them as being an advertisement. And then after that, there are the regular listings, the search results, and that will come following. most people skip the advertisement ones, although some don't. Some and go to the ones that are right underneath it, high-ranking blog posts or high-ranking website pages on the search engine under the paid ones. Now, people do the paid ones because they want to be there immediately. They'd rather pay to be there than spend the time and energy to kind of work to get themselves ranked up top. So fair enough. If they want to do that, that's great. You can, and that's what, paid traffic immediately will give you traffic because you're paying to have the search engine present your post or your advertisement up top. But what we're talking about is how do you get high up right under that on page 1 or maybe on page 2? And we'll talk about that in a little bit of detail. I'll use some of my own blog posts as examples and some of the techniques that I do to get there. Now, can you always get to page 1 on every term you want to write about? No, you can't. I mean, it's a competitive world out there, right? There are other people trying to rank, chances are, for the same terms that you're trying to rank for. There's something like 40 or 60 million websites out there. And the internet wasn't just invented yesterday. So people have been trying to rank for certain terms for a long, long time and have had a lot of traffic and lots of things called backlinks over to their post and all that. And we'll talk about that a little bit later. But that doesn't mean it's impossible to rank for a term. It just means you want to think about what you're trying to rank for. One of the things, I think maybe what I'll do is I'll share my screen a little bit. And again, Marion, if you're watching this, you're welcome to join me online here. And I've given you the link directly in Skype. But I'll keep going, assuming, whether or not you join or not. And again, welcome everybody who's here. And I'll look again if there are questions come up. So I'm right now I've given you some really fundamental stuff. If you've been blogging or have a website, you no doubt know about search engines and how people search for terms, but you may struggle with getting your posts up top in Google or Bing or Yahoo search. And so that's what we'll be talking about today. So let me, first of all, I'll share a screen. I want to open up another browser window and get my own website up top here. And switch over to screen share. And present to everyone. So you should be able to see my website right now. So this is my own personal website that I am blogging on a pretty much a daily basis. Now, only recently have I putting images like this on it, only the last couple of weeks or so. But let me open that up a little bit wider, and then kind of talk to you about what we're, what we're looking at here. Every one of these here items here is an individual blog post. It's just the style of this particular website, the way I've set it up, is it's showing kind of an image, a heading, and the first part of a blog post, a snippet, and then if you click continue reading, it takes the person into the detailed post. Okay, now that post doesn't have that only has a video on it, but let me find another example. Here's one here. If I click on this here, it'll take me into the detail. And here's my detailed post. Now, this is a keyword that I decided I wanted to rank for. Now, I'll be honest, it's probably not one that a lot of people are searching for. But I decided it's a blog post that I wanted to create. I wanted to share it. I shared it with people in my list. I shared it on Facebook and Twitter. And generally, when I do a blog post, I put a little bit of effort into search engine optimization so that even people that don't know me that happen to search for a term may find the post. Now, why I do that is it's to expand my reach. right? I know so many people on Facebook. I know I have so many followers on Twitter, and so many friends on Facebook, or so many people connected to my Facebook pages. But I want to continually expand my reach. I don't want to always talk to the same people, because after a while, the same people aren't interested in your message, or they've already bought your product, or they're already in your business, things like that. So you want to expand your reach. And you can do that, again, various ways. Search engine optimization is one of those ways. Okay. So when I write a blog post, I typically, first of all, concentrate on what I'm writing about. I don't write it with search engine optimization as its primary focus, because I'm really talking to people, right? I'm really trying to explain something to people, whatever it may be. However, I do use some elements of search engine optimization in my blog post, okay? And I'll explain a few of them here. Now, this may not be the best example, because I see a couple things here that I don't normally do, but I'll explain that. I'll explain that as I go. The first thing I do, and you can see my domain is patrickbatty.com. In this case, the keyword that I was focusing in on is what the gurus aren't telling you, okay? And you'll see the way I've set up my blog is that whenever I create a post, that will be the domain, whatever that post is titled, will also be the URL of the blog post. Now that's a default in the blogging system that I'm using, which is called Kalatu blogging system. That's a default. That's not a default in WordPress. WordPress defaults to something else. But if you're using WordPress, I'd suggest you change that. You just change it's called the permalink structure, and you change the permalink for your blog to have a default of your post name, which will be this. Have a default of your post name become the permalink, and that's effectively what's going to create the URL that looks like that. Now, I'm using lots of terms there. Don't worry about it. The key thing is, once you've done that setup to set permalinks to post name, once you've done that setup, it's done. You don't have to worry about it again. Okay. So whenever I create a new post, automatically the post name will be whatever, or the permalink will be whatever I called my post. All right. It's plain and simple. Now, in this case also, and again, I'm just picking this as a simple example, I also made this is the heading of the blog post. So within the post itself, I put the same words as my heading. All right. I may, in some cases, sprinkle that within the post as well, but normally I don't do it quite the way I've done it here. Normally, I don't repeat it as a subheading over and over again. Here, I did do that twice, all right? But normally what I do is now my subheading may include that keyword, but usually I'll include something else about it, like maybe a description of what the next section of the blog post will be. When you do it too often, it makes the post look kind of crazy, makes it look a little bit weird. And it's kind of like if you have it too often, you're somewhat spamming your keyword, and it makes the blog post look strange. But also, if you do it too much, Google will actually not like it. They'll think you've kind of over optimized the post, and you kind of tread a fine line. If you go over that line, your post won't rank at all. But if you stay under that line and do kind of things I'm talking about here, you can generally get your posts ranked. So I've been treading that line here, all right? Now, the other thing I do is, I write my article the best I can. I try to write it for people, not for search engines. And, if people get interested in what I'm talking about, they may choose to opt into my list. Or in this case, this is a product of mine here. If they want to click on that, they can buy the product, a little list building course. But essentially, when people come to my post, they have an opportunity to do things, okay? So I don't even know if I'm ranking for that term right now. I haven't gone back and looked. Chances are it's somewhere around page 1. I don't know. But chances are you've already looked. But oh, I hear you, Marion. Are you there?
I am, Patrick. I'm sorry. I got sidetracked with this whole time zone thing.
Oh, okay. All right.
Yeah, you'll move forward last weekend and we haven't, you see.
Oh, I see. Okay, okay.
Yeah, my
Anyway,
apologies.
so
I'm here
welcome.
though.
It's okay, good. I wondered where you went. Anyway, so I'm in the middle of kind of describing a blog post right now. It may not be one of my best posts. I don't know. I just picked a random one. Now
Sure, sure.
so basically I will sprinkle whatever that keyword is that I'm trying to rank for. All right. Now I will be honest with people. I do not do a lot of what's termed keyword research when I write my posts. I try to think of things that people will search for. I don't want to create some kind of post all around something that, if I'm going to do any kind of SEO, search engine optimization at all, I want to do it around something that I think somebody's going to look for. But I typically do not go out and find out what the search volume is or how competitive it is to rank for that post. I just try to use common sense. Okay, so I've done things on, blog posts on how to get to page 1 of Google, or how to dominate Google rankings, or things like that. And those are things I think people will search for. They happen to be things that I know about and can share about, just like we're doing this today. And so I just try to use some common sense around it. I've tried doing keyword research. You look for those things that there are 10,000 people searching for it. I always find the ones with such high volume are so competitive it's very hard to do. However, I do find, because I'm writing blog posts quite regularly, I'm not too worried about getting 10,000 people viewing one particular post. I'm more interested in getting hundreds or 1,000 people viewing a bunch of posts, right? And so rather than competing with the highest competition terms with very short phrases, and I'll explain that in a bit, what I typically do is use a longer phrase, or a long tail keyword is what's called, and really go for that. I'll give you another example, something like, and I talked about this in the training today, make money online. Now, you may be brand new online today, and you may be brand new today to try to make money online, but I can tell you that people have been trying to rank for that keyword for as long as the internet has existed. So if you're brand new today, are you going to create a blog post that will rank higher for that keyword than the last 500 million people that have tried to rank for it? Chances are kind of slim, right? Not that I'm not trying to be defeatist, I'm just trying to be realistic, right? So if the term is interesting to you, I'd recommend you to expand that term a little bit. So it could be, how to make money online from the UK. If you picked a longer term, as an example, for Marion, if you pick that longer term, I don't know, clearly not as many people will search for that term as will just be the term make money online. But the chance of you ranking for that term, it'll be so much less competitive that there'll be a really good chance you'll be able to rank for the term and get it onto page 1 of Google. So even though, let's pick an example, even though only maybe 1% of the people that search for make money online would search for make money online from the UK. Maybe it's only 1%. I bet it's actually higher. But anyway, let's say it's only 1%. If you get yourself to number 1 for that term, and it's only 1% of the volume that the other one is, you'll probably get more traffic from it than you would on the other, because you won't rank for the other one. You may be on page 50 for make money online, and you'll get 0% of a massive amount of people. I'd rather get 1% or 90% of the 1% than 0% of some massive amount. So does that make sense? I mean, I'm glad you're here, Marion, because if I sound a little crazy when I say that, I'd got you to tell me.
No, you're absolutely right, Patrick. It's that whole thing of competitiveness.
Yeah, that's right.
It?
That's right. So you could pick the highest volume term in the world, and if you're able to rank for it, that's wonderful. But my point is, I can literally rank for most of these terms in a couple minutes after I submit my blog post, without doing all kinds of squirrely, crazy stuff, by picking a less competitive term that's longer tail. It may not bring me the volume, but it will bring me traffic. So when I'm writing blog posts, and I you know, I don't do them every day. I'll be honest. I don't do them every day, but I've probably done about 20 in the last month. And just about every one of those blog posts is on page one of Google. And most of them that have gotten there have gotten there within a few minutes of me posting it. And I'll explain a little bit more about that in a few minutes. So the key thing is, think of a term, but make it long enough that it's not competitive. Now, if you want to learn about keyword research, there's all kinds of videos on YouTube. You can do it. There's all kinds of products, all that kind of stuff. But basically, if you go to the Google, just search the Google AdSense keyword tool, find some videos, and that'll teach you more about keyword research. But as I say, in most cases with me, I just try to use some common sense rather than any particular science. Okay, so when I do that, whatever the keyword may be, in this case, what the gurus aren't telling you. Again, who knows how many people search for it? I can check the volume I get on that page. I don't know what it is, but whatever it is, I'm going to sprinkle that keyword around in the blog post. I'm going to put it on my heading. It'll, by default, the way I've structured my site, it'll be part of the URL. So I've already given Google some really good signals about what this is for. This post is about what the gurus aren't telling you. They should know that. I put it here. I've put it up here. I've got it in a couple subheadings. And again, normally I don't. I've repeated the subheadings a few times here. I'm a little bit embarrassed to show you because that always looks a little stupid. But and it does look like you're trying to rank for it. Normally what I would do is I would either paraphrase that in a different way, or if I was, say, the second paragraph here is about a slightly different topic, I would extend that with whatever, you know, is relevant to the topic down below here. So like breaking it, make it almost like a section and add a little bit to the term. Putting it over and over, again, as I said earlier, you do run the risk of overdoing it, okay? But effectively, I put it in the blog post, I sprinkle it around, trying to, like you can see I have it down here, but it's in context. Whoops, I'm sorry. I just navigated away from it. 1 second. Get back to the page. It's in where I put it down further on. It's in context with the sentence, so it doesn't look ridiculous there, right? It's in context with the sentence there, and so it is sprinkled through there, but not crazy. All right. A couple other things that I've found to help any blog post rank quickly or to rank high is to have some internal linking around my website to related posts. So in this case, I had a couple other posts that I thought were kind of along the same line. One's called Focus in Action, and I have another one here, a little unrelated, but anyway. But almost in just about every post I have, I'll have a couple internal links to other pages on the website. Okay, so that's especially important when I'm doing something related. If I take a look at this one, how to dominate Google rankings, this is another post. Now there's a good chance down here I may have a link to. No, I don't have it on that one. I was going to go back. I had another post about Google that I was going to put another link in. Maybe it's in this one. But if not, I will go back and do that. No, I haven't done it here now. Oh, yeah, here we go. So in this case, how to get to page 1 of Google. Now, this one is not on page 1 of Google, by the way, although I think the video is on page 1 of YouTube. In this case, though, I do have some internal links to some other pages on the site that are relevant to the topic. So how to get page 1 in Google is the topic for this particular post. I had another post called How Much SEO is Enough? So Google getting to page 1 is search engine optimization, so I have a related post here. And I also had a post about what is an authority site, and so I have a related post there as well. So a couple of those posts within your site are helpful. If you want to do a post to an external site, that's great. People always used to worry about making it a no-do-follow post. If you don't know what it is, don't worry about it. And if you if you do know what it is, I'd still say don't worry about it. If you're posting out to somewhere that is related, I think it's valuable for your own authority. It's not taking it away the way it used to. In other words, if you post it out to another site, it used to kind of pass link juice, what they call link juice, to that site, which it does, by the way, but at the expense of your own. I wouldn't worry about it. It's too much work to go and change it, and I don't think it matters. I think Google appreciates when you link out to other sites, so the benefit you get is stronger than any negative effect. I've never worried about it, at least not in the last 2 years, and I did early on. It didn't seem to me make any difference whatsoever. Okay, so that what I'm talking about in most of this here is on-page SEO. Now you'll see a couple other things I've done while I'm on this post. I've got an image. Now Google doesn't know what your image is. Now in this case, you can see I've got a heading on here that is matching the title, but that's my own choice. That could be a picture of anything, okay? But Google doesn't know what's in your picture. They only know how you describe your picture. So if the term, before I upload that picture, and I've just been recently doing these, I create an image like that because if I do a video, I'll make it the thumbnail.
The video faker, yes.
Video, right? So when somebody finds that video in YouTube, that's the image that'll show over in YouTube. But I also then make it the featured image of my post. So it's just a bit of personal branding to me. It doesn't do any good for search engine optimization, nor does it do any good for ranking in YouTube. What it does in YouTube is when somebody is searching for how to get to page 1 in Google and they see a bunch of videos, a bunch of people, but they see this big bold text that's exactly what they're looking for, and I may not be number 1 for that term. I may be number 5 or 6 or 20, I don't know, but it shows how relevant the video is to the topic. So I'm making that as a relevance to the topic. However, when I upload the image, whatever the image may be for my post, before I upload it, I rename it to my keyword. So if I'm searching for if my keyword is how to get to page 1 in Google, and I've just created this nice image, I change the file name of that file. It's like a JPEG file. I just rename it, how to get to page 1 in Google.jpg. Okay? That's the file name of that file. That's the only thing that tells Google kind of what's in that document. So if it was called just image123.jpg, Google would have no idea that image was related to my post that I want to rank to. So basically what I do is I rename the image. I used to go to the trouble of actually setting a bunch of attributes in the image too. I don't even do that anymore. It's kind of like, again, overkill. I don't want to over-optimize it and push it over the edge. So all I do is I change the image, I upload the image into my blog, and then when you upload an image, it'll let you set what's called the alt text in the description for the image, and I will set the alt text to be the same thing, to the keyword, and I'll set the description to be the keyword. All right? So I'll go into, in fact, let me log into my blog, and I'll find this post, and I'll show you what I'm talking about.
You know, Patrick, while you're looking for that, this is absolute gold because I actually do SEO, right? So I will go off and I will find keywords and all of that. And can I just say one weird thing about keywords?
Sure.
Is that very often when I'm doing keyword research, I'll come up with a keyword which I think, come on, you've got to be kidding. Surely nobody's looking for this keyword. And you know what? There's something like 1,900 people a month who are looking for it. You
right.
know? So that's I've sort of learned, okay, go with the flow there and do that.
Right.
But one thing that I have never done is actually keyword optimize my images. So thank you for that.
You're welcome.
It's been one of those things I'm planning to do, I'm going to do, but I've never done it.
Well, I'll show you the rest of it then. So all you do is, again, change the file name of your image to be whatever your search term is. Simple as that. You just, right click on it and rename it to whatever your term is. Why that's important is as you upload it, it knows what that file name is. I don't know why they do. I don't know why it matters. I just know it matters. So I'll go with the flow. So here, let me select an image. Again, I'm not going to make a lot of changes to this post, but let me show you what I mean by the image. I'm going to insert an image here, same image, find it, and there's the image right there. So I'm going to select this image. How to get to page 1 in Google. I have it there twice, in fact. I can see that. And so this is the title of the image. It'll by default, whatever your file name is, it'll put that in there when you upload an image. So it'll generally have that part filled in. However, it will not have the alt text or the description filled in. So it's as simple as when you upload your file, see, it's how to get to page 1 in Google, it'll put that there. I simply copy that and paste that there and there. Okay? I insert it to the post. I'm not going to do that because it's already there, but it's as simple as that. Then what I do, let me just go back, exit that. A couple other things that help optimize it. I make that image. So I may insert that image in the post, or I may also not have it, in the post beside my text or in somewhere in my text. I may make it the featured image. So in this case, I've got it as the featured image. Let me just remove that for now. I'm going to just set that as the featured image. How to get to page 1 in Google, that's the one. Again, you'll see it has that stuff there. I just say set it as the featured image, and that's it. So that's the way this theme is set up. Not all themes have that, but most do. And so that image already has that alt text, the description, the file name, and the title built in. So that is perfectly optimized to that keyword. Okay. Now the picture, I should have a better picture. I had a little too much sun that day, but anyway. A couple other things I do though is I want to share my posts on Facebook. The theme that we use here, and this is, I should tell people, this is a Kalatu blog. It's an amazing blogging system that Marion and I both use. It's perfectly tuned to SEO right off the bat. I'll tell you some other benefits of it later on, but a couple of the things is it also is set to work completely with Facebook. A couple things. I've got my text here. I'm not going to go into explaining all the text. That shows a couple of the links where I've done some links to some other spots. Within the Kalatu, we have things called call to actions, and we have some built into it, but we also can create our own call to action, and so that'll automatically embed a link and a picture and other stuff just based on selecting whichever call to action I want, whether it's one of the built-in ones or one of the ones that I create. The next thing is I want a bit of an excerpt on the blog, and I'll usually just copy the first paragraph. Okay, and then I also want to have it, how do I want it to display when I share it on Facebook? Well, I've already got an image. Facebook is very visual, so I select the image here. Again, if I haven't uploaded it, I can upload it. Otherwise, I just select the image, and again, I always use the same one. I mean, it matches this. I put in the text here, and effectively what it'll do is it'll blend that text together and pretty much put it in one paragraph. And so if I shared this post on Facebook, it would look just like this. All I'd have to do is copy the link of the post, and when it puts it in Facebook, Facebook will go out, find the image, find the title, find the text, and if anybody clicks on any of it, it'll take them directly to the blog post. And that's all built into Kalatu, but people have to take advantage of it, to use it. So I love it because I don't have to do special things for Facebook. I want to share things on Facebook, but once I've created my blog post, it's as simple as, if I go back to the actual post here, it's as simple as just copy that link, go over to Facebook, post it here. And normally I'd put a little extra text in, but just you see how what it's done already?
Mhm.
Beautiful. So
It's brilliant, absolutely brilliant.
Yeah, except for my big face there. But anyway,
Patrick.
actually, my face is smaller than it was. I'm down 20 pounds now in the last month,
Wow.
Marion, so I'm going to have to change
Well
that
done,
picture
you.
pretty soon. But isn't that cool how it does that? I didn't have to do anything special. Now, if I wanted to add a little extra text here, I could actually delete that and put whatever I want and hit enter, and it's done. Now, I'm not going to post that right now, but I don't want to take the time to do that. But that's how it works. Now, is it ever just such a cool idea? Now, a couple other things I do is usually I put some tags around my text or whatever I'm trying to post about. I want to stay on the page. Don't know why that's coming up. And I'll select some tags here. I've got some down below. Oh, my browser's frozen. I don't know why that's there. There we go. Can you still see the screen, Marion?
Yep.
Okay. Go back here. I will put some tags. No, that is frozen.
No, we can see it, Patrick.
Yeah, I just can't. I'm trying to get down lower, and I won't scroll. So it's just
we're right by your tags.
Yeah. So anyway, I put some in there that are relevant to what the content is, and I usually only select one or two categories. Now, many people will select a lot of categories. Personally, I think that does a little bit of harm. It kind of starts to make you're trying to tell the Google that it's about all these different things. So if people put 15 or 20 different categories there, well, you may get some interest on each of them, but it also kind of confuses the issue as well. It's like spreading it out a little thin. Mm-hmm. Again, that's my theory. Anything I talk about today is just my own impression. So I usually do one or two categories. That's about it. A couple other things I do actually is even when I've set up my categories, I don't just add a new category. And again, I'm going to actually have to shut this browser down and try opening again.
Okay, Patrick, while you're doing that, I'll talk something about categories that I noticed, which is very, very interesting. So give you time to get your browser sorted there.
Okay.
Now, basically, when I've done my blog, you know, I want people to be able to find things easily, but also sorting your blogs out according to the particular topic actually is very helpful for Google as well, because they can find everything that's related to that particular topic. Mm-hmm. So my blog is called moneymatterswithmarion.com. And the funny thing is, what I have found, not the funny thing, but it's so relevant, you know, when you've learned all of this and you put it into practice and all of a sudden it proves it and it's like, whoa, it actually worked. But I've got various categories like blogging and, you know, you'll see them all there. But I created a category called Money Matters, right? And what I have found is that anything I do, any blog posts I do, and when I put them in that category, they can be anything at all. I did one affiliate marketing for dummies, right? Now that's not related to my post or anything, but because I tagged it in the Money Matters category of my blog post, what it's ended up doing, it's identifying that term Money Matters with my blog title, Money Matters, my own domain, and it's thinking, oh, look, these two match, so it's actually indexed that ahead of anything else. So just see how you can use that in your planning as well. Right. Listen, I'm not saying that to you, Patrick, you're way ahead of me when it comes to that. I'm just saying in general.
I'm still struggling right now. I'm on a Mac, and you know how perfect they are.
Yeah.
Well, sometimes they're not any more perfect than a PC. And for some reason, I am totally frozen. I can't leave the page. I can't close my browser window. It has nothing to do with the blog, but I'm stuck. Oh, there we go. I was able to get over to this other tab, but I can't get rid of this at all.
You can't leave and come back? I'll keep everybody entertained. I'll do a little tap dance or something.
There we go. I just got it closed. Good.
Excellent. There you go.
I've been navigating. I was trying there for about 5 minutes. So I'll go back. Let me open it up again then. I'll risk it. One second. And I want to go in so I can edit the blog. And find my posts. Okay, so back to where we were. So as you saw, I uploaded an image that was not just relevant to the keyword, was the exact same name as the keyword. You know, now I'm a lot of times creating my own. Here, you'll see this one here. How much SEO is enough was another blog post. Don't know how it's ranking. I just haven't looked lately. I think it's on page 1. How much SEO is enough is what is in the image, but again, Google doesn't know what's in a picture. They only know what the picture is called and the attributes of the picture. And again, I do not worry about attributes, but I do make sure before I upload the image that I'll call it whatever the keyword is. All right? And let me find something a little less current, because again, I've done a lot of those images recently. Here's another. This is an interesting one, just as an idea, and I'm not going to log inside it, but this was one that, this made the news a couple of weeks ago in Canada. And I thought it was, first of all, it caught my attention. I'm 60 years old, so I'm a baby boomer. You know, Marion's a baby boomer. And I work from home. I don't consider it too much work, to be honest. But I saw this a couple weeks ago, and it was that I said more in my post, but it was most Canadians now expect to have to work past age 65. Most people, it was over 60%, felt they had to continue working beyond age 65. I thought the article in the newspaper was interesting. I wrote an original post about it, but only part of it is original, and then I actually, what they called, curated some of the original article. So here's a bit of the original article from the Toronto Star. You see I have it in quotes here. The way that this post is set up, just has a little indentation and has it. And then I put a link to the original article. Well, even that, by the way, that topic and phrase, that was in every newspaper in Canada for a couple days. All right? And even though that keyword, it was the title of the article in the newspapers, the last I looked was on page 2 of Google for it, even though every newspaper in Canada had the article. You know, it was syndicated through the Canadian Press, and everybody, you know, most newspapers, 90% of the stuff in their paper now is syndicated content from somewhere else. Well, once in a while, I'll syndicate content from somewhere else too, or we call it curate, and effectively, I copy something about an article, I get a link back to give that article credit. In other words, this is where I saw the article. The interesting thing was they're not the originators of, they got it from somewhere else. I didn't realize that until after the fact. But then I wrote some original material around the article myself. I did some optimization the way I just showed you guys here. I submitted the article, and again, the last time I looked, it might have been on page 2. But remember, you know, my blog isn't as high of authority as, you know, all of the newspapers in Canada, right? In fact, this blog, I've only been working on patrickbatty.com now for about a month. So for me to have a blog post competing with 200 newspaper articles and actually beating about 190 of them is pretty powerful, right? They wouldn't have SEO optimized their post. I took a little extra time to do that. When I said my blog, this domain, patrickbatty.com, has only been around for about a month, it's because my original blog within Empower Network was on a different domain, and about a month ago I transferred everything over to my own domain. Okay, But the key point I'm trying to make here is even curated content, if done well, means you can take advantage of other material you read, copy part of it, give it the appropriate attribution back and maybe a link back to that website, so you're not just copying content and duplicating it and trying to take credit for it yourself. And in my case, what I would do whenever I do that is I also write some original material. In fact, in this case, I had more original material in this article than the part that I quoted, okay? But that post is ranking really, really well just by even using some curated content as the starting point. So it's pretty interesting. And again, it's one where hundreds of newspapers had that exact article in them, and I'm still on, it might be on page 2. I just haven't looked for the term recently. So that gives an idea. Now, I really should talk about the power of the blogging system we have here. The Kalatu blog platform is a wonderful platform. Marion, you use it as well.
Yes, I love it.
And it gives people a starting point. If you're not an expert at this today, the cool thing about the Kalatu platform is it gives you a starting point that is already set up for you for SEO. You actually have a domain built into the system that is a kind of a high authority domain that you get to use a section of it, one that is your specific section. You get to use that. That's an age domain, a domain name that's been around for a long time, that has a high authority, that generally posts get ranked very well. So it's a kind of a nice starting point. The other thing is the Kalatu system itself has some big advantages compared to your traditional WordPress site. It has a number of WordPress plugins and widgets built into it automatically, and a setup for search engine optimization built into it automatically. And I'm not going to share the private SEO settings I have in here, but it's basically constructed in a way that you fill in the blanks about what you in general want to write about. What's the topic? I mean, your topic could be different. I do a lot of search engine optimization oriented stuff. It's a part of my business in one respect, and I just enjoy it. It's kind of like you write about your passion. Some people, write about dog training. I kind of like SEO and I like blogging, so I write about SEO in blogging quite often, right? But the cool thing about the Kalatu blog is it's kind of already for you. You don't have to start it from scratch. If you start a WordPress site from scratch, and admittedly you can go out and get a, WordPress is free. You have to pay for some hosting, usually 10 or 12 bucks a month. But with Kalatu, you pay for Kalatu every month, but you don't have to worry about hosting. But the cool thing is Kalatu has training built into it, support built into it. If you have your own WordPress site and you have a question, well, guess what? You're on your own. Okay, here, if you have a question, you could type in, like, say if somebody's brand new, what's a widget, right? I don't know what it'll say here, but let this. What is a widget?
Just so you know, you're not sharing your screen anymore, Patrick.
Oh, no, I'm sorry. Oh, thank you. One sec. Oh, that's right. When I froze up, thank you. 1 second.
While you're doing that, can I say you're talking here to a WordPress. I absolutely loved WordPress, wouldn't use anything else but that, etc., etc. And I know WordPress inside out.
Right.
It took me, my thing was, if I'm going to be selling this to people and if I'm going to be training people on it, it's just good sense that I learn how to use it.
Right.
It took me like, I think the first day I hated it, simply because I was learning a new way. That's all. So I knew how to do it in WordPress. It was, how do I do it here? So I didn't like it. But after that, I realized that for the new person, it really is the answer. It's so automated.
Yeah.
Like you're talking about this call to actions, Patrick. You just select one. You don't like that, you select another one.
So we have call to actions.
So cool.
And we have tutorials built in to show how to do things. This is what I was just showing that before you reminded me that I wasn't sharing my screen. So you're brand new to WordPress and you want to know what a widget is. In WordPress, you're going to go to widgets and try to figure it out. In here, and again, I just picked that as a random thing. I go into my little instant answers section here and say, what is a widget? And there we go. Click on that and it tells me what it is. Okay, it's a little just built-in help facility that's part of it. I mean, that's a silly example because day 2 of WordPress, you'll start to understand what widgets are. The other thing is, even there, we even have a support feature where if you have requests of things that you'd like to create, you can, or have done built into the blogging platform, or ideas that you want, you can submit those, and the developers behind the Kalatu blog will take that into consideration. I mean, they're not working full time for you to do your specific stuff, but if it's a valuable idea, they'll take it into consideration, and they're adding features to this week after week after week. So it's kind of a great starting point. A couple
and
other
the other
examples.
thing,
Sorry?
Sorry, Patrick. I was going to say the other thing, you know, as much as I loved WordPress, if anything went wrong, you know, if I lost a blog through my own fault or I did something silly or whatever, there was absolutely nobody to contact.
Nope,
to
that's
get
right.
that situation
You're on your
resolved.
own. It's cheap, but there's a reason, right? You're on your own.
Exactly. And you're out on your own, which means you've got to, yeah,
Even
which
your
means you've got
hosting
to.
company won't fix your WordPress blog if you break it.
No, they can't. And whereas yesterday, you know, I was having problems with my domain, domain mapping the whole thing. Now, one call to Empower Network, they were so helpful, so polite. She went, I think I know exactly what the problem is. You've done it, you've put capitals, haven't you?
Yeah.
Right, that's what it is. And you know, in 5 minutes, she sorted out something that I'd been sweating about all morning.
Yep. Yeah, you can phone
so amazing.
Type it in. There are tutorials built in. Actually, there's this 21-day blogging challenge. You can create a post. If I go up to add a new post, and if I say create a 21-day challenge post, it'll basically give you some ideas about what to write about. Now, if you're in the middle of the challenge, it does a slightly different idea every day, all right? And so if I'm in the middle of it, this is what some suggestions about what I want to blog about, and just gives you an idea. Or if maybe I'm not in the challenge, I just want an idea for a headline or an idea what to blog about. Here, let me try this, and we'll see what happens. Give me an idea. Now, this is not part of WordPress at all, anyway. Okay. Okay, just a random idea. The one thing I do every day, and if I wanted to write about that, I navigated away by accident. 1 second. Add new again. Give me an idea. Oh, now it's giving me another one. Again, I must have hit the give me another one by accident or something. But anyway, here's another idea. Give me an idea. If I like that one, awesome, I'll write about it. Or else I can, don't like that. My first job, oh my God, my first job such a long time ago, I don't want to write about that. School days, that's a long time ago too, I don't want to write about that. Oh boy, yes, I could I could definitely write about this. What I'd do differently if I were something. And it's just given me that inspiration to you know, there's an idea. Again, if you're in a regular WordPress blog, none of this stuff exists. And so for the little bit extra that a Kalatu blog costs, considering I've got the ideas, the training, the support, the background, the hosting, all included, it's just a goldmine. And then if you become an affiliate of Kalatu, you get to sell it, okay? And they pay, you get 70% commission when people buy the system. So it's well worth selling. So we've kind of got into a lot. I will say there's some other parts to the SEO. One of the important things once you've created your post, if it hasn't been indexed, well, Google will come to your site more frequently, more regularly, and almost instantly the more often you blog. So if you only create a post once a week, chances are Google's only going to come and even check it out for new posts once or twice a week. If you create a new post every day, I found, especially over the last month, they're coming like the moment I create it. It's like automatically. Like when you submit your post, it basically is putting it in your RSS feed. And if Google's excited about that you're creating a lot of content, they'll be just monitoring that. So I've been finding lately when I create a post, it's indexed and ranking in the search engines almost the minute it happens. Now,
Wow.
last week, or was it, I guess it was the week before last, Marion, you weren't on this. I created a post on the fly. I didn't want people to watch me type because that's painful, but I typed up a post. I just put it in a text file. And I created a brand new post. I put in the title. I copied and pasted the post here, the text. I selected a call to action. I did all this part of the setup. You know, I copied my first paragraph, put it here. I put it here. I put my heading in here. I uploaded my image, and that was it. So even though I wrote the post in advance, that may have taken me 20 minutes. I basically just inserted that stuff there, selected my category, selected my featured image, and I hit submit. When I hit submit, I wasn't even thinking about it, but I thought, let's go see if Google's indexed it. So I did what's called a cite command, which if you just type in, go to Google search, type in the word cite, colon, followed by the domain name, so like patrickbatty.com or whatever yours is. It will show you all the things that Google's indexed. Sure enough, that thing was right there. So because it was right there, I thought, well, let's go check it in Google search. And sure enough, so I went to search, and it was right up top. Now, because I was doing a live hangout, I was logged into Google at the time. However, when I really want to check, and that'll sometimes artificially put your posts up high. So when I was done with the hangout, though, I logged out of my Gmail account. I then went back and checked it again, and sure enough, it was like ranked number 2 on page number 1. And again, the first time I checked it was less than a minute after I submitted the post. So that's how connected Google is to my website right now. They're looking to see when I put stuff there, and they're indexing it almost instantaneously. Okay? And so the Call-Out-To blog will do that for you. It'll get you going. It'll get you started. You know, how often Google will come and check it, though, is kind of based initially on how often you are creating stuff. So we don't want to tell you it's magic. It's not magic. The search engines, you know, they look at millions of sites. They're going to look at the ones that are busy first. Okay? Then your indexing, getting ranked once it's indexed is kind of based on the stuff we told you today. Secondly, it gets in very important though, is how many social shares you get, how many comments people leave on your post, and things like that. So then you know, there might be some things you have to do to get that. You know, hopefully there's some people like your content, so they'll comment on it. And or you might be able to, you know, share it with some people, share your post with one group of people, and you'll share theirs or like theirs or things like that. And so you're kind of syndicating it out there too, so that'll help. But I will say you got to write, you know, kind of write from the heart and write for humans to read. But if you want to get the search engines in there, you kind of massage it a little bit to get the search engines to rank it by doing some of your on-page stuff, and then hopefully people will like it, comment, and things like that, which will pull it up in the search engines as well.
Yep. And Patrick, I'd like to add something there about writing from the heart. Our age group in particular has been taught, you know, a particular way to write. So we tend to be quite formal in our writing, quite precise, etc. Right. And we think that that's the thing, you know, that's how it's got to be. Now, the reason why you find so many of these young ones, you know, making names for themselves and ranking so quickly and getting followings, etc., is because they write from a passionate place. Mm-hmm. So the important thing here is finding your voice, you know, and I want to recommend everybody does that. Not forget about, for example, I will get so stressed if I come across the word a part of Empower Network spelled as A-P-A-R-T, as an email that came out to us today did. And it's like, no, that means exactly the opposite. You know? So I get very stressed with that kind of thing. However, I do try and use a talking voice, sort of
Yeah.
it's a conversational style of writing. It's
Yeah,
not a rigid essay
I
style.
think I try to do that too. It's like I'm not trying to be casual like a 16-year-old is going to be
Mm,
casual,
mm,
but you're right. You find your voice, whatever's right for you.
yeah,
My
exactly.
audience and demographic tends to be in my age group, right?
Mm,
But I don't write in a formal way at all. I would agree with you that way. On the other
yeah.
hand, I'm not trying to appear like I'm a 16-year-old kid.
Oh,
Or
I would fail hopelessly.
oh yeah, yeah, exactly. So, but you're right. The key thing is though, you want to write. I mean, first of all, I do want these blog posts to get ranked in the search engines
Mm,
because that brings you a new audience. Okay. However, the key thing is to remember the search engine is your secondary audience, not your first one. Your first one is the people that are actually reading it. And if you write everything the way the search engines want it, or I'm a spammy thing
it's
where you're
filtered,
repeating your
isn't
heading
it?
and repeating it and repeating it, repeating it, make it look ridiculous. Well,
Mm,
nobody will do it. I've written this. I've got that keyword here. Okay, more Canadians expect to work past retirement age. I've got it in the text again in a way that it's relevant. I
mm,
made it a little
mm.
bit bigger, but again in a way to get a little more attention to it. But then in this case, this was actually all one, just spread over 2 lines. It was kind of like the here's why they're going to do that, but it's part of that heading.
Yeah,
Again, I hear more Canadians work past retirement age. What I'm doing, again, part of the same heading, just happens to be because the keyword's so long, it spans 2 lines. But again,
exactly.
is my own words in that. So the main thing is, I want the audience to enjoy the post. I want to actually, let's see if I got any comments on this post. Let's check. Oh, there we go. Yeah.
Lots of them.
So
Mm,
got some comments. I reply to every comment I get,
mm.
because if somebody's going to be nice enough to leave you a comment, you might as well be nice enough um, to reply, and or if there's a link to their blog to go over and reciprocate, right? So that commenting though would help that in the search engines, and in this case, these are people I know, and they like the post, and they're kind of baby boomer age as well.
Yeah.
They understand, this is a drag. The way the economy's gone and the way, benefits have gone for social insurance, or in our case, we call it Canada Pension. They're backing them up. We've contributed it all our life, and
Mm.
they're now that we're getting there. Now they're backing it up when you can get them,
Yeah,
right?
exactly.
So anyway, that's get off the soapbox. The cool thing is you write it so that people will, one, enjoy it, second,
Mm.
comment on it. Sometimes people will share it, sometimes they won't. Doesn't matter. They will share it if you. Again, I find that they'll share things on Facebook more. So if I posted that on Facebook, again, all I'd have to do is copy that, boom, put it on Facebook. It'll grab the picture, it'll grab the first bit of text, and it's there ready to go viral, right? And that's kind of what it's all about. So with the Kalatu blog, it's kind of set up for you to get going, especially for somebody that's new. There would be no reason to look at another solution. It's inexpensive, it's powerful, you can start day one. The training is there, the help is there, the support is there, and for that matter, a community is around you to
Yeah.
help support you. Just the way I've had people comment on this blog, you're not out on your own. You're not a completely separate island. You'll be part of a team, some other people that will help and share and things like that. Just like what I did today. I did a 2-hour training today, Marion. 2 hours about this stuff, a little bit more detail than I'm going in today, but
Mm.
2 hours it'll be thousands of people will see that. Most of them I don't know.
Yes.
And that's
Mm.
what a community is. I'm giving them the best I know about this, and we had other people on this. Laura Parrish as well. She did a wonderful job.
Mm.
We basically spent 2 hours teaching the most detail that we could, more detail than this, but
Amazing.
but
Mm.
that's the kind of community you get into when you first of all get started with a Kalatu blog. So how do you do that? Well, right down below the video on Boomer High here today, there's a green button, and it's just get started with a Kalatu blog. That will get you going. You basically submit that, fill that in, submit it, pay your $25, and you've got a blog ready to roll, and you'll have training on the inside to help get you started. Okay? You'll automatically be sponsored by whoever brought you to the webinar tonight. If it was me, great. If it was Marion, great. If it was somebody else, great. The way we've set up the links there is whoever promoted the webinar tonight, their specific portion of the link is attached, and therefore they will be your sponsor in the system, and you will be able to, for that matter, also use Boomer High if you want to help you as well. You'll be able to send out our links on a weekly basis, share it with other people, and again, if people end up joining, they're going to join through you, so you're the person who's going to make the commission. So it's kind of a big win for everybody, and it's kind of putting Marion and I to work a little bit on your behalf. So we'd welcome you. We've gone a little long today, but we'd welcome you to join. All you do is hit the green button below, get started. You can literally have a blog set up in the next half hour to get going, and it's as simple as that. Marion, do you have anything you want to add? Were there any questions? I wasn't watching the...
There was one question from Sue, Patrick, and that is, can I find it? No, I've lost it now. It's ever so strange. My computer just... Yeah, you did. Good.
Tags. How many tags? Just a few or a bunch?
I've answered
that one. That's a heck of a good question. Yeah. I would say a few, and yet I was on this thing with Laura Parrish, and Laura Parrish puts dozens in yours. So I don't know that there's a simple answer to it. My own thing is tags. I don't think they're all that important personally anyway, so I'll do a few. But she was putting all kinds, and again, I'm the same way with categories. I will generally just do one or two categories, and she was doing a lot. So the funny thing is, her blog posts are ranking really high. My blog posts are ranking really high. I don't think you can break it. I don't think you're going to go wrong either way. It's kind of just, you generally will get yourself into some habits, and maybe once you've done a little bit of it, you'll see if it affects it one way or the other. So I don't know that one matters, frankly. What I have done, though, I've limited my categories. I don't have 50 different categories. Because I don't write about 50 different kinds of things, or I don't set up a new category every time I do a blog post. I want to have my blog focused in on maybe 7 or 8 different topics.
Exactly.
That's it.
Yes.
So I've got my 7 or 8 or maybe 10 categories. I didn't used to do that. I actually went back in and edited and changed things just after I imported everything in here, and I got rid of a few. The other thing I did do, and this is just a little bit of a secret, is when you create categories, you can actually SEO optimize your category. So when you go into the blog, and I'll just show that very quickly and then shut up. See my categories here.
All good.
So you'll see here I've got categories: blogging, affiliate marketing, Empower Network. But this is what I would say 99.9% of the people don't do. No. I went in and edited it, and I put stuff in, some keyword, stuff around the topic. Okay, you go in and edit your category. You got your category here, whatever it may be. Finances. If I went in and click edit, I just went in and put some stuff to show Google that the category is. Even though that's just a word, I put a little bit more than just a word in there to show the relevance, okay? Simple as that. Not big deal. The cool thing is, again, I only have about a dozen categories, and you do that one time, and that's it, okay? You'll find even your categories get indexed and ranked by Google. Today, when Laura was showing her stuff, she did some very, very long keywords that maybe nobody would search for, but she was ranking so well for them that she was not just post number 1 in Google, she was post 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. And some was her blog, some was her category, some were her tags, some were her Facebook posts or Twitter posts. She owned the term, pretty much across page 1. Now I generally go a little bit smaller or shorter terms than hers, but she just was rocking it with categories, tags, and social shares through herself and even other people who shared her post, and they were ranking on Google for that post as well, or her post was ranking when they shared it on Google as well. It's amazing. So I'll tell you what, the combination of a good tool, good training, kind of a good structure. This thing is set up for SEO in the first place, and you don't have to start with a brand new domain day one. You're going to be on one that has some SEO authority as soon as you get started. Now, when you want to do your own domain, like I've done patrickbatty.com, with one click, you can move all your posts from the one domain to the other, and they're automatically redirected. So even though they may have indexed on the original domain, as soon as you transfer them to the new one, all of those links that are already in Google will automatically then be redirected to your new domain. So you don't have to know a domain name that you want day one. In fact, I almost recommend people don't. You just get started. You start with the system. You get going. You go through some training.
Yeah.
You use the built-in domain that's here. And then later on, after a month or 2 months, when you get your feet under and you get some results and all that, if you want to start branding your own domain, I would do that then. But I don't recommend it at all to people day one. There's other things to get going with. And most of it is just getting started, creating blog posts. Okay? So Marion, look, we went really long tonight, but thank you very much.
It was worth it.
And yeah, I guess I should have mentioned the time zone switch here.
It's okay.
But it was good. So again, if anybody's brand new and want to get started, all you do is hit the green button under the video. Get started with Kalatu. You can have a blog get started in about 15 minutes, 20 minutes. You'll be in the back office in 5 minutes. You basically fill in the form and hit submit. You'll be in the back office. There's training to go through. You'll get you going. Your sponsor will be there to help you as well. And the key thing is just take action. Get going. Don't sit around and procrastinate on this thing. This is not a hard business. If you want to be an affiliate, you can. If you don't want to be an affiliate, you don't have to. That's why it's optional. If you just want to blog that you want to blog about anything or use it for your business, you can do that right away. If you want to be an affiliate and you want to make money with the system, you can do that as well. Okay? A lot of people are making a lot of money. I'll put the qualifier out there. There's nothing guaranteed. What you earn is based on your own results, and we don't know what you'll do. So that's completely up to you. If you want, at the bottom of this page, or when you get started, you'll see more about it as well. Or again, just the key thing is to know nobody's guaranteeing you income. We're guaranteeing you a blog that you can get things ranked fast. What you do with that blog and how much you make from that blog is completely up to you. And that's about it. So hit the button below. Marion, thank you again. Sorry,
you are very welcome. I'm
passionate about the subject, so I went a little long. But I want to thank you again. We'll see you next week. And thank you guys for checking out Boomer High tonight. Again, we have a kind of a regular audience, but also a growing audience lately, and we appreciate you coming. Feel free to drop questions or go to what's your blog title name again, Marion?
moneymatterswithmarion.com. But okay, it's very, very new, so please don't laugh at it.
Well, moneymatterswithmarion.com, or you can see mine is patrickbatty.com. Feel free to comment on the posts, ask questions. We love it. That's what it's there for. Feel free to look around. If you like it, if you create a blog and you want to beat me in the search engine rankings, go to it. Let's do it. And I'll wish you all the best. And you know what? I'll teach you how to do it if you want. So,
Patrick, Gary's got a question here. Gary's saying, how many links to other blogs do you do? Personally, I only put in about 2 links to other blogs. Maybe 1 to another blog within my own site, and then maybe another one to an external source if there's something that I find really, really attractive.
Yeah, Gary. I pretty much agree with you on that. I would do 1 or 2 within my site, and I don't do one external every blog post. I do it, when it's important. Like this article here. It's an article in a newspaper. So I linked to the article in the newspaper. There it is, right?
Good, good. You
But
know,
you know,
sorry, Patrick, go ahead. I've got one more thing to say after this, and
no,
then
that's good.
we'll think.
Anyway, so I do it when it's important. I don't consciously say I must put a link to an external site. I do it when it's important.
Good, good, good. What I was wanting to say to anybody who's listening to us is, and I'm talking about this from my own personal naughtiness, right? I am one of these people who takes great pleasure in crafting my blog. I love writing. I love making videos. Videos are important for your blog, so if you're into that, try doing that. It gives you that much more. That much more capability of ranking. But the one thing that I've got wrong for a long time, and I've now corrected it, which is why I'm sharing it with all of you, is creating a great blog post is not the end, the beginning and the end of everything. Yes, you will get some of them ranking, etc. But there'll be somebody else then who comes along and does the same thing and they'll outrank you, etc. Be sure to syndicate. Now, that might be a really good topic for us for next week, Patrick. Continuing on from this.
Yeah.
Yeah,
that would be. We could do that. And by syndicating, it means again sharing your post with others.
In an organized
generally, if you're going to do
way,
that, you're going to be doing the same for them. It's a mutual thing, right? It's not just a one-way. I don't get a lot of people to syndicate mine if I'm not syndicating theirs. So sharing it with others, soliciting comments, we can make that a whole topic.
Yeah,
but
okay,
it is important because,
especially
when you're new, nobody knows it's out there, and so the more you can share it, the more you. First of all, social media is critical.
Yes.
People will see it. But secondly, though, once you get going and you're connected with some people, just like I had a few friends that commented on me on my post there. Well, I put it in my Facebook. I have a kind of a group. I share it there, and some of the people in my group will comment, and then they'll share a post there, and I'll comment on theirs. And that's what we're talking about, syndication, right? Is by mutually helping each other out.
Yeah.
By sharing or commenting. So and there's tools to do it too, but I'm not too much into the automation stuff. I don't feel like I need to do that, and sometimes those tools can do more harm than good, because Google pretty much sees through anything like that. So
well, I've gone as typical, I've gone from not doing it to doing it in a very methodical way on a spreadsheet, etc. So, so let's we'll talk about that, because that is so important as well.
In a nutshell, let me summarize. Then we were about to end, and then I'm kind of thinking about it. In a nutshell, you want to write for people first.
Yes.
Secondly, if you want to take the time to get ranked in the search engine, well, then you can do the kinds of things we shared today to get ranked in the search engine as well. The Kolatu blog will help you immediately with that, assuming you're going to get it, and then start writing some blog posts. The sooner you start writing posts, the sooner Google will start coming out and seeing it and start indexing, basically cataloging your posts and putting them in their rankings as soon as you do it. If you only come in and do one post, every couple of weeks, well, they're not going to pop around very often. But a blog post doesn't take a long time. Every one of them is kind of a little bit of a brick that you're building for your business. And they'll stay there. That's the cool thing. They'll stay there. So posts that I wrote 2 years ago are still in the search engines now and still ranking now. And so I wrote it 2 years ago. Now, hey, it may have been something that's irrelevant now, but the point is it still could be discovered in the search engine tomorrow by somebody. And that. So write for people first. Second, if you want to have search engine optimization, well, then do a little bit of, what are people looking for? What's a keyword that you think is reasonable length that you can get? You may search for that keyword and just have a look and see what's out there. I mean, if there are all these massive high-end corporate blogs on page 1, well, that might be a tough thing to rank for. If you see personal ones on page 1, though, then chances are you can get yours up there as well. So write for the people first. then for the search engines, but share it with people, as you're talking about syndicating, share it with people, because the commenting and sharing that people will do will help your search engine optimization as well. So when you get, like, I've got about 200 posts on my website now. I blogged a lot year one. I didn't blog so much last year, and then I'm back at it like crazy now, because now with the new Kalatu blog, it's just ranking so much better.
Yeah.
It's getting indexed so much easier. I'm just getting lots of page views, lots of business, things like that. So that kind of positive motivation, that it's kind of given me back that motivation, and so that's got me blogging more, which will just kind of feed itself. I'm thinking of like a whirlwind. I'm getting more excited about it as the results are getting higher too. So look, that's about it. If you want to get started, hit the button below. We'll be back here next Thursday. Yeah, we could talk about syndication next week. I want to thank everybody. Thank you, Marion. And
thank you, Patrick.
Yeah, maybe I'll even be. By the way, I was outside today, sitting out in the backyard, surrounded by snow, but it was actually a fairly mild day. So I'm looking forward to being able to do some of these from outside in the near future. So thanks again, guys. We appreciate it. Thanks for coming by, and we'll see you all again next week. Bye-bye.
And also, can we encourage you all, bring your team members along as well, because we are now going to be doing a lot of this kind of training going forward. And with everything starting to pick up momentum, it's a brilliant time to start to lay good foundations. So by all means, invite your people over, and like we said, if you use your affiliate ID, if you code it to yourself, then if they go ahead and do anything, bring your lists along, your members along, etc. And if they do buy from here, they'll go straight to you as well. So
that's right.
Something worth thinking about.
Again, thanks everybody. Marion, I'll just connect with you here on Skype, or stay on the line after I stop the broadcast. And,
okay, Patrick.
Again, thanks again, folks. We'll see you next week, Thursday at 6 p.m. Eastern Daylight Savings Time.
Yes.
See you later. Bye-bye.
See you, everyone. Bye.